Hello, hey, it's me, Tiana, back at it again for another video, and today we are talking about Degrassi. Your girl is back. I did take a long break from talking about Degrassi because when I was watching it, the last time I was watching it, it was just really, I don't know if I wasn't in the right mindset or if like the episodes were just not vibing with me at the time, but I just got really bored and aggravated watching it, so I was like, I need to take a step back from Degrassi. So I kept seeing people like talk about Degrassi on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter here. And like YouTube was like recommending me videos about Degrassi, obviously because I was watching Degrassi, and I just felt like Degrassi just kept coming up in like my life in conversations. And then the other day I was talking to my sister and her boyfriend, and we were talking about Degrassi, and she was saying or her boyfriend was saying that the only episode of Degrassi he had ever seen was the episode when Jimmy got shot, because you know that's the episode everybody always talks about, the school shooting episode. And we were having a conversation. I was telling him like all the episodes that you kind of need to watch before you watch that episode for it to make sense, because he was saying he didn't like Degrassi and that was the only episode he had seen. And I was like, well, if you just jump into that episode, there's a lot of stuff that you miss, a lot of context that you don't have. You don't have any feelings towards any of those characters if you don't know who they are. Like, you don't care about anything that's happening if you just jump in on that episode, because you didn't build, like, you don't know why people hate Rick. You don't know why Rick is so upset that he wants to shoot up the school. Like, you don't care about Jimmy when he gets shot. Like, you don't feel the emotion of Sean like jumping in front of the bullet or the gun for Emma. Like, you don't feel any of those emotions that people who had watched the show up to that point felt. And I was talking to him about that, and it really just made me remember how much I just truly love Degrassi. Like, honest to God, it's my all-time favorite show. I feel like I'm so lucky to have like grown up in the time period that I did, where I was at like the right age to watch Degrassi, and the characters are like a couple years older than me, so like I was watching them go through things like right before I started to go through things, and they sort of grew with me. And honestly, I talk a lot in a lot of these videos about how like influential media can be, especially in those formative ages of like your teenage years, your early years, your early childhood years. Like, the stuff that you watch sort of becomes who you are. And when I would look back at Degrassi, there's so many different storylines or things that the characters went through that like resonate still so much with me and bring me back to the time period where I was watching these shows and how important the show was to me. I don't know, I just really love Degrassi, and I guess I'm back into a better headspace or a better mind space that I can watch Degrassi again, and I'm really glad that I am, because again, I love the show. Like, I hate that I was starting to hate it. Like, I hate that I was feeling some type of way about the show. So I'm glad I'm back in a better space and I'm able to watch the show and feel joy and excitement about the next episode. So we are on season 6. I was watching season 6 when I quit watching, and I did not go back to rewatch those episodes. And that was months ago. I think that was like July, and we're in October. So I don't quite remember everything that happened in season 6. So I'm mostly just going to be talking about the last 6-ish episodes, which are the ones that I just finished watching before I recorded this. The end of season 6, if I'm not mistaken, season 6 is pretty much just the older kids of Degrassi have now gone off to college, and we have just Emma and Manny in them's class dealing with their senior year of high school. Jimmy, Ashley, and Spinner, I think, stayed back, so they're still in high school. Spinner and Jimmy started a business together. They sell t-shirts, and that was a storyline of this. And also there was a small-ish storyline about Jimmy learning or standing up to his father and sort of becoming his own person. And I think that's like the theme of the entire season, of all the characters are starting to branch out separate from their parents and starting to become their own people and starting to move into adulthood. We have a storyline of Emma doing the same thing, of Emma wanting to have sex with Sean, and Spike find out, and they have to have this whole big family conversation about her having sex. And we see that her mom is fine with it because they had already had the talk, but her dad, Snake, is like a little worried. He's a little uncomfortable with the idea. And then Emma does this annoying PowerPoint where she's like, girls have to be little young girls and they never get to grow into women, or something like that no one cared about. But she got an A for it because obviously they sit there and indulge all of her nonsense. But yeah, so we sort of see all of the characters sort of step into their own. Alex has a storyline as well where her mother and her are going through some financial issues, and she has to take a job, which I'll talk about more later. That'll probably be the bulk of the videos, me talking about Paige and Alex. But Alex and her mom get into an argument about their financial situation. Her mother makes a choice that she doesn't agree with, and she moves out at the end of the season. And then we also see Paige go through some emotional strife at college, and then she has to come home and confront her mother about the pressure that she has put on her and decision making that she has made, and sort of has to like rethink her role in life and what she's going to be doing. We also see Marco finally telling his father about his relationship with Dylan, and also his struggles with addiction, of gambling addiction, and learning how to be an adult on his own and solve his own issues. So I think that like really would sum up the season as far as like the overall theme. It fits very much with the Degrassi kids that we know, that we have been following since the first season, are now coming into adulthood. They're all 17, 18, 19 years old. They're all either in their senior year of high school or in their first year of college, and we start to see them like try to transition into being adults. Because I don't remember the first half of the season, I won't say my thoughts on the entire season as a whole. Like, I won't give it a grade. I think that's what I was doing before. I was giving like an opinion on the entire season as a whole. I will just talk about the last like 6 episodes that I just watched and say that I do think they all were very great episodes. A lot of the episodes had some stuff that I felt like was filler. Like, a lot of the episodes had a very strong A plot, and then the B plot was like, we don't care. There was stuff with Darcy and Peter that I just never cared about. The thing about Darcy and Peter deserved jail. Peter deserved jail. He needed jail. Okay, that's what he needed. And Darcy low-key needed a little bit of jail herself. And together they needed a psych ward. Like, I don't understand why they put those two characters together. Who wanted that? Who asked for that? Who was rooting for that? Who was like, I ship Peter and Darcy? Put that in the comments. If you were watching Degrassi at any point, I don't care if you watched it when it originally aired, if you watched it years later, if you just now watching it now, if you root for Peter and Darcy, please tell me why in comments. Tell me why. Give me one good reason. Give me one positive reason to like those two characters. Just give me something. Give me something to go off, because it's not there on the page. It's not there on the screen. It's not there. I don't care about those characters. They're terrible people, both of them. Like, and I wish nothing but the worst for both characters. Like, I just don't understand why I would care. I hate them. Less screen time for them. Speaking of less screen time, though, I do find it interesting that the final 6 or 7 episodes, I can't quite remember. I think I started at season 6, episode 14, and then it's 19 episodes, so, or it might have been 13, and then it's either way, it's 19 episodes, and it was either 13 or 14, so that's how many episodes I watched. There were none of the characters of color when they were in any of those episodes until the final episode, and I think Jimmy was in maybe 1 or 2 episodes, like as a background character. Even the episode where Marco got arrested, which was hilarious, like, for Spinner to press charges on Marco for like going into the store into his store after hours to play poker, to have him arrested, even though he ended up dropping the charges, but to have him arrested that night is honestly the balls that he has to be that sanctimonious about somebody gambling. Like, of all the things you have done to people, Spinner, of all the things, you have the nerve to get somebody arrested because they were gambling after hours in your business. Like, nobody was harmed, nobody got shot, okay, nobody stole anything, nobody lied to nobody. He just didn't know that the alarm was going to go off. Like, stop it. Like, Spinner really was out of his mind. Like, they should have gave that storyline to Jimmy. I understand why they didn't give that storyline to Jimmy, because Jimmy is black, and black people have a different relationship with the cops than white people. White people will send you to jail. I'm so sorry about it. They will send you to jail, and they will just be like, I don't know what you're gonna do, so, you know? Like, so it probably wouldn't have read as like realistic if they would have gave that storyline to Jimmy. But it was just interesting to me because Jimmy, from what we know, was the one who put up most of the money for the store and was like the head designer of the store. So like, it was mostly his store, and he was not even in that episode. Like, the police were called and they came and Jimmy wasn't even there. Like, they don't know what to do with the characters of color in Degrassi, and that's like, I feel like that's going to be something I talk about in every single one of these Degrassi videos. They have no idea what to do with the characters of color, and unless they have a direct storyline talking about them, you will not see those characters in the episode, and that's really disheartening. Like, the final episode was the only episode that Liberty was in that I saw. It was the only episode that Mia was in that I can remember. Now, if Mia, I don't know Nina Dobre's nationality or race. I think I'm making an assumption that she's a person of color because she's giving vaguely spicy white ethnic look, and her last name is Dobre. I don't know what she is, but that was the only episode she was in. That was the only episode Liberty's brother was in. Jimmy was also in that episode. Also was the only episode that Ashley was in, but I feel like for a while they haven't really known what to do with Ashley. Also, Ellie didn't get a lot to do. It was a lot of characters that it really was just Paige and Alex focused. And I guess Alex is a person of color too, but it was really Paige and Alex focused. Well, is Alex a person of color? Because her name is Alex Nunez. And again, she's giving you exotical, spicy white. And my assumption was always that she was Latinx. However, her mom is for sure 100% a white woman. So, like, I don't know. Are they trying to say she's mixed race? Are they trying to say she's a white Latina? Or is she just plain white? And I don't know. Let's talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. So the first episode that I started watching, which I find ironic. I feel like every time I take a break from watching Degrassi or I stop watching Degrassi, the very next episode is a Paige storyline that's triggering for me. Like, the last time I stopped watching Degrassi, it was before her rape. I guess trigger warning, but I'm not going to talk about it. This time the episode was Free Falling, in which she's off at college, and we see that she is sort of overwhelmed by the workload. She starts to have panic attacks, which eventually leads to her coming home with a whole bunch of work, having like a breakdown in front of Alex, who then like has to tell her mom that something's going on. They get her help. She drops out of college. And, there was some other shenanigans in there. She set her dorm on fire. She was lying to everybody about everything that she had going on, and it was really triggering to me because, honest to God, I don't think I realized it at the time. Like, I don't think I made the connection at the time of when I was in college. But college was when I found out I realized that I had a panic disorder, that I had an anxiety disorder, that, needed to be treated and medicated. I've talked in other videos about being on antidepressants, for my anxiety, but, I haven't, like, literally ever, like, had a conversation about my college experience, and as pertaining to anxiety, not even like in real life to people who I know in real life. Like, it's just not something I talk about, and it's also not something I'm gonna get real deep into, but suffice to say, it was very triggering for me because I also went through that same experience of being like a smart student in high school and going off to college with a scholarship, and like in like advanced programs, and like feeling overwhelmed by everything that was going on, that was happening at school, not having a real support system at school, and also not being able to like have that support system at home either. And then I'm not really having a support system at home. My storyline was kind of a mixture of Alex's and Paige's, where, you know, I had a lot of family financial stuff going on, and also like family pressure to be like perfect, or to be the child who didn't need like as much, like to be the person who had their stuff figured out, who was like perfect. So to have that pressure, and then going off to college and not really having a support system, and also I'm first generation college student, it was very overwhelming. And it also was, like I said, when I found out that I had an anxiety disorder and I began having panic attacks. Now, I had always had panic attacks. I had always had anxiety. It was not something that like was new or manifested as I went to college, but school was and still is a very big trigger for me as far as my anxiety, and going off to college and not having like having like a change of environment, instability, and then also having financial worries on top of having like school worries, and like friend drama, and like family drama. I had a lots of panic attacks. I was suicidal, and I dropped out of college. I did eventually ended up going back to college, and I did graduate, but it took a lot of time and years and medication for me to get to a place where I could go to school. And it's crazy because I'm actually thinking about going back to school now for a master's degree. And like, I don't know. I just feel like when I was in college the first time, it was like very, very hard. Like, there are so many great, amazing things that happened to me when I was in college, and I would not trade the experience of going to the school that I went to in those years, like that time period. Like, there's nothing I would do different or change different. Maybe I would have seen a therapist before I went to college, maybe got on some meds before I went to college, and, you know, been able to finish when I started. But like, I don't regret going to school. I don't regret leaving school, and I don't regret like anything that happened in between. But yeah, college was a very dark, hard, sad time for me. But yeah, so watching Paige go through that was very, very triggering. And like I said, I never really made the connection of Paige going through the same thing that I went through until watching it now. Like, it was literally making me anxious when I was watching it. Like, I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack as I watched Paige go through what she was going through, because it vividly brought me back to that time period and that feeling that I felt when I was in college and felt overwhelmed and felt like I couldn't ask for help, didn't know how to ask for help, and like, it just didn't have any sort of system that could help me, and I felt like I was going to like ruin my entire life. Child, ooh, a lot. But the other big Paige storyline that was going on in this season was the Paige and Alex love affair. Honestly, Paige and Alex is my favorite couple of the entire show. Yeah, I want to say that's what I want to go with. That's what I want to go with. Those are my favorite couples of the entire show. And this season gave us so much Paige and Alex, but a lot of it was like tumultuous and tumultuous. I don't think I said that right. Tumultuous, whatever. it was a lot of drama with their relationship, and I wish we would have gotten more of just them being together and being happy. Like, all the scenes of them being happy with one another, they were not in a relationship, and then as soon as they would get into a relationship, they would like break them up or have them argue or like have something petty happen, and then the relationship sort of fizzles. Or you have the one-sided Alex telling Paige that she loves her, and Paige strangely being like she doesn't know what to do with that because she's not a lesbian. And it's like, at this point, we've already had this conversation. Like, we've already done the storyline. Paige is not a lesbian. We know Paige is not a lesbian. She's bisexual, which is fine. Or even if she's not bisexual and she's only attracted to Alex and she's not attracted to any other women, that's fine. Whatever. We don't care about her sexuality. She doesn't need a label that has nothing to do with the relationship. We don't have to keep rehashing the fact that Paige is not gay. Like, no one cares. Move on. Like, give us something new. Give us a different, like, impediment for their relationship, or just let them be together. Like, it was just aggravating that after a whole season of this whole storyline, I think this is the second season of this storyline of Paige and Alex, that we're still having a conversation about whether or not Paige is straight. We don't care. But Paige also slid back with Spinner, which no one wanted or asked for. They're trying to redeem Spinner as a character, and I hate it. The same thing with Peter. They're trying to redeem Peter as a character, and I hate it. Peter is a terrible person. Like, he's a terrible person, and he belongs in jail. Like, every single thing that he did was like a crime. Like, it's not like the bad things that Peter did were crimes. They were not things that your average teenage boy does, and like, we're just like, oh, boys will be boys. Like, they were crimes. He was selling child pornography, not once but twice. Like, and then after Darcy had him selling her half-naked pictures, she dated him and was in love with him. Darcy needed medication. Darcy has some kind of chemical imbalance. I promise to God she does. And like, I can say that, I was about to say I can say that because I'm crazy too, but like, I know when a chemical imbalance is happening. I can see it. And she has a chemical imbalance. Like, she needs, something is not clicking all the way. The elevator is not going to the top floor. Sister girl needs to see a professional, because no ma'am, you don't act like that. Like, she's nuts. She's nutty. And for her to be in love with Peter after what he did to her, after what he did to her friend, after just who he is, the continuous lies, like, she literally got mad at him because he lied to her about having his license back, and she had to walk home from wherever they were because his car got impounded. And then the next day she apologized to him. What? Baby girl, what? Have some standards. Get some business about yourself and get your life together, because I cannot. Like, get a hobby, get a job, find something to do, because stressing over Peter is not the move. It's not the move. It's not the look that you think it is. I hate Peter. But that don't have nothing to do with nothing. We're talking about Spinner. They're trying to redeem Spinner. Again, some of the stuff that Spinner did was a crime. Like, it was a crime. And he got Jimmy shot, and I'll never forgive him for that, because he really would have never told them that he did any of that. Like, what did you gain? I hate Spinner. I hate Spinner as a whole character. Most of the men on Degrassi are terrible characters. A lot of the girls on Degrassi are just aggravating, but the men on Degrassi belong in jail. Like, a lot of them belong in jail. And I say this as an abolitionist who don't even really believe in jail, but sometimes jail made points. Anyways, so she slid back, and then she also dated Jesse. Jesse deserved jail as well, because Jesse was doing anything in his power, like, to just, why was he sleeping with everybody in Ellie's life? And I'll just leave it at that, because we haven't gotten to that other storyline. But like, why was he sleeping with everybody in Ellie's life? Like, why would you be sleeping with her roommate? What made you feel like that was the right choice? Like, y'all broke up that day, and the next day you decide to sleep with her roommate? What did you gain from that? Like, what did you win? Jail. jail. He deserved jail. Jesse deserved jail. And then he was with Paige for 35 seconds and then was like, no, and doubled back to Ellie. Like, no, it couldn't have been me. Wouldn't have been me. But, yeah. I don't remember what the track of this was. She doubled back with Jesse. Then the storyline of Alex working at the strip club, I felt like was like weird in that they wanted it to be a story about, like, I don't know, because at the beginning of the storyline, I thought that they were trying to tell a story about slut shaming and about allowing women to make choices about their own bodies, which would have been like really progressive, honestly, in the year that this came out, to have a story about strippers and it be positive. But it was really just one throwaway line from the girl, the white friend. I cannot think what her name is, but that character, the one line of her saying that the only difference between the strippers and the bartenders at that strip club was that the strippers needed the money more. And it was like no moral difference, or no, like, they weren't worse people or nasty people because they were strippers. They just needed the money more. They're in a more dire situation. And I feel like that was like such a very progressive thing to say, because I feel like people always sort of have this negative opinion about people who do sex work of any kind. But also specifically of strippers, of feeling like strippers can't have any morals. TV shows, especially those like marketed towards a younger demographic, and also with like a female like centric, or I don't want to say feminist, because I would not say Degrassi is a feminist show, but I do feel like it's a progressive show and it's supposed to be like left leaning in its politics. So those shows tend to look at strippers and sex work as like morally wrong, versus it just being a job, which is what it is, and it doesn't have any more morality assigned to it than a bus driver or a cashier. Like, it's a job. People get paid to do work and they do the work. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So I thought that it was really interesting and progressive for them to have her saying that, to basically be like, you're not better than those girls because they take their clothes off and you don't. And then they sort of reversed course on that very quickly, and once Alex got into a financial situation in which she needed to make more money, or she was going to be homeless, she decided to start stripping because it would make her that money that she needed faster. And once she started stripping, the first day that she stripped, she got off stage and she was very sad and emotional about it, and she felt like she needed to throw up. Each subsequent time we saw her coming off the stage from stripping, she never felt like positive about it. She was always felt like she was doing something wrong or something nasty. We had a conversation with her about, with Paige, and Paige basically reiterating that stripping is nasty and gross, and you can't have morals or be a good person if you're a stripper. And basically gave her an ultimatum that she would either quit her job as a stripper or they would not be together. Alex ended up quitting her job. It wasn't necessarily because of Paige's ultimatum, but more with her issue with her mother. Like, as I alluded to earlier, her mother ended up using the money that she was making from stripping to bail out her boyfriend, who put them in that situation in the first place. So Alex basically was like, you know, you got the last penny that you're gonna get from me. I'm not gonna keep supporting you, you know, putting us in these dangerous and reckless like situations. You're on your own. And she moved out, and she also quit because I'm assuming the only thing that I feel like I could take from that was that she quit her job because, one, she was angry in the moment. One of the patrons at the strip club hit on her and made her feel uncomfortable. So she got mad and she quit. But also, I think she quit and went back to Paige specifically because she felt like Paige was the only person who could help her, and she needed help. Like, she left her mother and she had nowhere to go, and she knew that Paige loved her and would help her get on her feet or help her figure her life out. So instead of her making a choice for herself, she kind of made a choice of necessity, which I feel like is very realistic to the storyline and also realistic to the character. But I wish that Paige and Alex would have been together on a more healthy terms. Like, I wish them finally getting together would have been in a healthier space. I wish that it would have been of both of their own volition and not Alex coming to her in a place of need. I'm trying to think. Oh, the other storyline that was going on at the same time was Emma thought she was pregnant. I knew the entire time Emma was pregnant. I don't know if it's because I've seen it before or because Emma just is on my nerves and I knew she wasn't pregnant. I was like, there's no way she's pregnant. But it's probably because I've seen it before. But the entire storyline, I was just rolling my eyes. I don't know why I remembered it as her lying about being pregnant, like not actually believing, but I do believe that she actually believed that she was pregnant. I feel like it was a dumb storyline that drug out too long. Like, again, like I said, the A storylines of these episodes are really interesting and like well thought out, and then B storylines are like, I don't know, we need something else going on in this storyline. And that's exactly how the Emma's pregnant storyline went. It went on for way too long. Like, how long did she not have a period? Like, how long were we supposed to believe that? Because at one point she was saying that she was a couple days late, and then Manny was like she was a week late, but like the time between those episodes was so long. Like, I was just like, who cares? Like, who is she pregnant or is she not pregnant? She's not pregnant, so let's get to it. But I do, and I'm giving it to my girl Emma, I do agree with everything that Emma said about Sean going to the Army. If you don't know anything about me, you probably know, I have a video called Abolish the Police on my channel. But even outside of that video, if you know me in real life, you know that I'm very much against the military and the police, in the sense that I just don't believe in war. I'm a pacifist, I guess is the word, or I don't really know what the word is for me. I just personally believe that a lot of conflict can be resolved without violence. I don't believe that violence should be the first and only answer to a lot of the issues that we go through. And I also believe that the American military is extremely, we'll go with problematic. We'll go with problematic because I don't want to turn this into a whole video about the American military. However, I don't really know much about Canada's military and like imperialism in Canada, and like does Canada have like territories that they're like over? I don't think Canada has like started any wars or been in any wars. So like I don't really know if the dynamics are the same in Canada. So I guess I'll keep a lot of my opinions about that to myself. But I do agree with Emma's anger about Sean going to the military, and I also feel like that of all the dumb stances that Emma feels like she just has to be on, I feel like that was the most correct that she's ever been. And that also might just be because her views align with mine. And the thing is with Emma, a lot of the time her views do align with mine, but I just feel like the way she goes about it is just childish and needs to grow up. But again, she is a child, so. But with this storyline, I feel like she handled it in the best way she could. She was very open and honest with Sean about the fact that she did not agree with him going to the military. However, she did not try to change his mind. Outside of the whole pregnant thing, I feel like she dragged it on a little bit longer than it had to be dragged on, because she thought if she got pregnant, he would stay with her. But even when she found out that he would still go to the military, she was still faking pregnant. So I don't know if she thought he was just going to change his mind or what. But she decided to break up with Sean because for her it was a deal breaker, and I can respect that. I can never date someone who's a police officer. I can never date someone who's in the military. It's just morally wrong to me. Yeah, so I guess we're back with Degrassi videos. which is fine for me because the real reason why I'm recording a Degrassi video is because it's Wednesday. New videos go up on Thursdays, and I didn't really have a video. I recorded 2 different videos, and I didn't really like either one of them. So I was like, do I want to just skip the week and I have no video, or do I want to try to figure out something else to record? I kept trying to think of something I could record and edit quickly. And then I realized that I could just make a Degrassi video because I was thinking about rewatching Degrassi. I had enough time before the day would be over to finish the season, record and edit a video, and then get it uploaded. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a Degrassi video. And since I'm back on Degrassi, I'll probably do Degrassi videos out through November because I do want to attempt to do NaNoWriMo. I think that's how you say it. I've never really said it out loud, but the November Writers a novel a month challenge thing. I'll put it in the description box if you want to read more about it. I don't know if you care, but it's just a challenge to write an entire novel in one 30-day period. I have done it 2 different years, not last year, the year before, and the year before that, I think. And I am working on a novel loosely based off my college experience. So that's kind of fun. When I say loosely based off, I mean the first chapter is almost a direct rip from my life, and then everything after that is fiction. And then I also have another book that I've been working on. But like this video if you like this content. Oh, please subscribe to my channel. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think that's a lofty goal because I'm not even a little bit close, but I would really love it. That would be really great. So please subscribe to this channel if you like my videos, you want to see more content like this. And also share this video with someone who loves Degrassi, and share my other Degrassi videos with someone who loves. At the end of this, I will put my Degrassi playlist, and you can watch all my Degrassi videos if you just somehow just jumped into season 6 Degrassi. I have a video for all of the seasons up to this one. New videos every Thursday. The Thursday videos will most likely be Degrassi videos for the foreseeable future. However, I might sneak in a Saturday or a Monday video about something else. Also, I am doing a week of Halloween, I'm pretty sure. I've started recording those Halloween videos. But who knows with my life, bro? Who knows? But I have started recording Halloween videos, so you'll at least get a couple Halloween videos. I was trying to do 7, but you'll at least get some Halloween content. I'm not really big on Halloween, personally. I don't really like horror movies, but I do like dressing up. That's my thing. But yeah. So enough rambling. Like I said, comment, subscribe, share this video with someone, and I'll see you in the next one.